security is in the kingdom to come, right? Not in this wicked place here. All right. So, hey, that's the first truth, is that you come into this truth of keeping the commandments and pushing the word, you're going to have a tough time. But you got to endure, right? Because what don't kill you makes you stronger. Everybody knows that, right? So now, look, another thing. Truth is, everybody will not be saved, okay? And that's a hard pill to swallow. So some people don't want to deal with the Bible at all because they know it's some stuff in there it's not comforting, and it doesn't give you the warm fuzzies, all right? And that's what they kind of build you up to believing in Christianity Sunday morning church is, you shouldn't be worried about anything negative because God is all good and love, right? But that's just not reality, okay? The Most High is balanced. And he also believes that a false balance is an abomination. So you got to have the good with the bad. But you got to have the balance. You got to have a balance, right? We all know that there's some unsavory type of individuals that that you probably wouldn't trust to handle certain things. But there are those circumstances where you're looking for that individual, right? Because something needs to get set off. Somebody needs to get checked. Or something where you need somebody who's a little bit unruly, a little bit more, liberal with the rules to get things done. So that's how you know, hey, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. But as an Israelite man, woman, and child, you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. So let's go to Matthew 25 and start at 31. Right? Everybody will not be saved.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him.
That's right, those 200 million black angels. Go ahead.
Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
Right?
You want to jump to 41?
Come.
Okay, verse 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
Right. So somebody's getting cast away here, right? The goats. Okay? So those teaching to disregard the commandments, you're going to be the goats here, right? On the left, the goats on the left-hand side for destruction. See that? So you got to know that Christianity's been lying to you. If you sow a seed, that does not automatically mean you're okay. All right? Money doesn't have a whole lot to do with keeping the law, statutes, commandments.
Right.
You know? Because if that was the case, you know, poor man wouldn't stand a chance. Right? Which is the Israelites. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 42, For I wasn't hungry, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. Verse 46, And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
So, hey, some people got to be taken out. That's just the way it is. Everybody is not going to heaven. It just doesn't even make sense. Okay? You got somebody who's getting abused, and you got the abuser, and somehow I'm supposed to believe that it's justice and fair for both of them to go and be saved and end up in the same place. Who is the abuser getting saved from? He's the one doing the abusing. Why is he going with the abusee? Right? That's just ridiculous, man. But that's what Christianity teaches. Foolishness, man. Stuff that's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Okay? Nobody is rooting for their oppressor to be saved along with them. It's just nonsense. Okay? Give me John 4:22.
John chapter 4, verse 22. You worship, you know not what.
Right. Y'all Christians going to church, you don't know what you're worshiping, you're talking about God loves everyone, and you just have to have, all you have to do is believe, and you don't have to do any works and all this, madness. You don't know what you worship. Right, go ahead.
Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
That's right. Salvation is not of all nations, right? Salvation is for the Israelites. It's just that simple. So if other people are not getting saved, then what's happening to them? Salvation is not for everybody, right? Everybody will not be saved. You don't know who you worship. We know what we worship because what we worship is right here within these pages, right? And we can go to it and we can show it and prove it. You don't know what you worship. You don't have a clue. See that? But we here to tell you today. Truth is, some people get destroyed. All right? Moving right along. What's another truth? Well, the laws, the commandments have not been done away with. And having to keep the laws of God, aka the laws of Moses, aka the laws of Christ, is forever, right? So don't be looking and anticipating a time where you'll be able to not keep the commandments, because that time doesn't exist, right? The commandments are forever, right? You don't believe? Let's get that. Baruch 4:1.
Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God. And
right? Also known as the Bible. Go ahead.
And the law that endureth forever.
Right. The Torah, which is part of the Bible. Go ahead. Which endureth forever. Go ahead.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Right. And so as an Israelite, right, and a teacher of the word and a student of the word, I feel it's imperative to tell everybody that the keeping of the law, it means you're doing it. Okay? Because people say, oh, you keep the law. Yeah, I keep the law. Oh, so you do the commandments? Oh, no. Well, what are you talking about then? See, it's too much fluff and vague, changing of meanings of words and misunderstands all that foolishness. So that's why we got to make everything super simple and clear. Because we know the Israelites are hard-headed and foolish, right? When it says that you're keeping the commandments, that means you're following the commandments. That means you're doing the commandments, all right? So don't get it twisted that, oh, well, I keep the commandments in my heart. I keep them on my mind. I keep them in my Bible, right? I keep them in my pocket, but I'm not doing them. Because because you don't have to keep the laws. It's just, that's why I implore and I beseech all so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? Men particularly, get up out of these churches, man, and take your wife and children with you when you come. Don't leave the church and leave your wife and children in there, right? It's a step in the right direction, but, they need to come out too. You're supposed to be the leader. Lead your family out of the Christian church. Okay? That's what we need as a nation. We need more Israelites reading and doing the commandments instead of just talking about it and singing and dancing and making a joke of the Most High's program. Okay? Give me Matthew 5:17 and 19.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right. Coming to fulfill the laws, coming to keep the laws, establish the laws, teach the laws, push the laws, right? Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Right. And so this is why Yahushua pushing the law, statutes, and commandments. Because they're saying that after his death, the commandments were done away with. That's what they teach you in Christianity, even though that's not biblical. Even that doesn't make any sense, is it? Because, if you're keeping the commandments, how can you teach to not keep the commandments, but then the commandments are in here? Christ taught the commandments. I just don't understand where the disconnect is. Right. Where do Christians go from believing that Christ taught the laws and he kept the laws and kept all the commandments, he didn't break any commandments, but somehow me being like Christ, I break all the commandments. Right. It doesn't follow. It's not logical, people. That's why you need to separate from Christianity Sunday morning church. Right. Am I on that one?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Precept?
Yeah.
You were saying? A lot of times you said, well, I have grace.
Oh, yeah.
They always use the thing grace. I don't have to keep the command that I have grace. So let me give you Romans 6:1-2. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Yeah, so
they Slovakia, but
go ahead.
So when they hear that, they say dead to sin, they don't understand anything in that verse. That verse goes so far over their head, that's why they teach that you don't have to keep the commandments. It's crazy. Do you have something you want to say on that?
No, I mean, that's what you said. How should we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Basically, being dead to sin, we don't sin.
There you go. They think that means that somehow you're unable to sin, or no, that means you choose to not sin when you have the option. Whether do I want to sin and break the laws, or do I want to keep the laws? You choose to keep the laws. Right. That's what it's talking about, right? So if you're keeping the laws, then how are you sinning? That's all it's saying, people.
Mm-hmm. Can I read 6 first?
Please do.
Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we shall not serve sin.
I mean, Christianity is such a powerful drug that, you can read the verse, let's say Matthew 14 and 15, where it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And then they'll say, then you ask them, do you love Christ? They'll say yes. Then do you keep the commandments? And they'll say no. And it's just like, it doesn't follow logically, man. These people are brainwashed. Like,
the 12th verse.
Please do. Please do.
Drop down to the 12th verse. Romans 6:12. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that ye shall obey it in the lust thereof.
Right. You should be pushing back on sin.
Right. Not
giving into it so easily, right? And justifying it and making excuses for it, right? A whole myriad of precepts come to mind, but I'm gonna just push forward because, it's simple. The laws and statutes and commandments are here forever. That means you're supposed to be keeping them right now and tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. When you're 90, right? The commandments are still going to be in effect, right? It's crazy. So, let's pound that point into the ground one more time with Revelation 22 and 14.
Did we get? Oh, I need When we still be 19, I need 19 off.
Oh, come, go ahead.
Let me read this real quick. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 19.
Come.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Right. Letting you see that there's levels, right? There's hierarchy in the kingdom of heaven, right? It's not just everybody holding hands, right? And everybody is, no.
Right.
You got some people who's at the top and you got some people who's at the bottom,
Right.
right? And that's all justified and it's all for a reason, right? And it lets you know how to keep yourself from being the lowest in the kingdom. You need to be keeping the commandments and teaching others to do so, and not telling people that they don't have to keep the commandments. Okay? It's crazy. Nothing that is taught in Christianity is biblical.
Right.
Even from the most basic thing. I mean, it's just mind blowing.